Recording. All right. I'm gonna take a sip of water. Looks like we're live. Okay. So just so you know, Instagram, I'm not gonna be facing you. Sorry, not sorry. I'm gonna be facing the camera here for the podcast. So welcome to the episode. This is gonna be on YouTube. We are on episode 22 of the Power Over Perfectionism podcast. And today I'm gonna share some personal stories. I'm gonna share some real, like the real stuff. I'm going to share with you how I got into breath work because sometimes life is super hard. Interestingly enough, life is actually really hard even when things are going well. Like life is 50-50. Life is really good stuff and then really negative stuff. But what was surprising to me is that when I made six figures in my business, that's when it got really hard for me. And I'll give you two reasons why. First reason why was I was increasing my capacity to take more clients. I was increasing my capacity to receive more money. And it totally blew up my imposter syndrome. It totally blew up my rejection sensitivity. Like all the things in my childhood. So I'll just give you like a slight backstory without trauma dumping. When I grew up, there was somebody in my life who was an adult that was verbally and physically abusive. And this person would tell me, no one likes you. And I would have to basically write like apology letters for being myself. And so you can imagine from the ages of about 5 years old to fifth grade, this is what was going on in my life. And so I developed a very independent, loud, domineering personality. But all of that came out of wounding, like the core wounding, right? Of feeling not good enough, feeling not loved, feeling kind of like, well, F you then. Like, fine, if you don't like me, then I'm just going to not like you first. And I did a lot of work through my journey of having coaches to undo like that trauma response of where I didn't like people, I didn't trust people. And then I would get in bad relationships with men. Like I was with a narcissist for 9 years. And all he did was tell me all the things that were wrong with me. Like all he did was tell me I was too fat. Like it was so crazy that I allowed that. But it would make sense, right? Because that's how my subconscious was programmed. So then I started my own business back in 2015 after getting fired, health and fitness business, hired my first business coach. And I also hired like a one-on-one coach to help me with my business. But ironically, I didn't want to talk to her about my personal life. I did not want to talk to her. I didn't want to coach on my relationship at all. It was just too painful. It was just too sensitive for me until I realized like me staying in this relationship is going to keep me stuck in my business because I can't grow my identity and say I'm this person and build this big vision and this big dream when this person is literally telling me, why would anybody hire you? Like the market's saturated. Why would anybody hire you? Like, just you should give up on this. Like, you should go be a stripper. Like, what? Like, you should go do something else versus building your dream and building your business. So, I finally exited that relationship when I hired a relationship coach and finally broke up with this person after literally 9 years of gaslighting and just so much negativity towards myself. And that would make sense, right? Because that's how I felt about myself. So then, like the transformational thing that happened for me, and this is what I want everybody to hear as hyper independent, high achievers, perfectionists, that's who I work with, people who are running businesses, making shit happen in the world, writing books, launching things, having your business, like looking like you have it all together. We typically do not have it all together emotionally. Typically, we are running from emotions. We don't want to feel it. It feels too big. It feels too huge. I don't want to feel this. I don't want to feel this heavy emotion. I don't want to feel this imposter syndrome, rejection. Like, I don't want to feel bad about myself, right? I don't want to feel shame and guilt and self judgment. So then what happens is we block out all emotions and we just power through, we move forward, which typically leads us to burnout. So my story was I finally was like sick of my own shit. I wanted to change my life. I did not want to be in these patterns with my relationship anymore. I didn't want to be in these patterns with my money anymore. So I invested in going to a retreat in Bali in 2018. And I invested $5,000 that I didn't really have, but magically, like the amazing thing is like magically when you say yes to something, it shows up for you. So like magically the money showed up from like a I submitted money from like my dog health insurance. And then my mom found like some bonds for me. And so I found the money to go on this retreat. And during this retreat, at 31 years old, I learned how to cry. I learned how to not be afraid of my emotions. That was like the first thing that cracked me open, that let me realize like feeling emotions is a thing and it's important. And so now, fast forward, we talk about me reaching the six-figure mark in my business at the beginning of 2023, where I really had to challenge myself and push myself to get there. And really it was I invested a lot of money in my business, which gave a lot of like nervous system activation. Right? Like I invested a lot. And it was really that point where I'm like, I need this to work. And so I crossed the six-figure mark and then burnout hit. And then depression hit. And then none of this even matters hit. Like existential crisis hit. And the beautiful thing that came out of this for me, because most of you probably don't know, like I had a panic attack last year. I was having burnout, I was having health issues. My clients didn't even know I was going through this. I would tell them when I was on my coaching calls with them, but they didn't know like the extent of what was going on behind the scenes, mostly because I just needed to keep showing up for myself. So I had, how many coaches did I had? I had a business coach. I had a somatic coach that helped me process emotion. I had a hypnotherapist. I like went all in on leveling out my nervous system, figuring out what were the thoughts and habits and patterns that got me stuck here. And spoiler alert, like the two thoughts that got me into burnout was I don't have time for this and I need to make money. So I just want to let you know those thoughts are very pervasive in our culture and they always lead to burnout. So if you're having those thoughts, let's decide to undo them. And what I've started to say instead of those thoughts is I have a luxurious amount of time. I have I have plenty of time. I have spaciousness in my life. And I started to just affirm that. I started to walk slower. I started to take lunch breaks and like sit and talk to people. I started to practice co-regulation by just hanging out with my friend and not talking about business. And one of the major things that changed everything for me, well, there was two things that created resilience for me in the last 3 years of building a six-figure business. And listen, I'm not done. I am going to build $1 million business. But I thought about it. I'm like, man, how am I going to do this? Right? If it takes more work, if it takes more capacity, like, how am I going to do this? How am I not going to burn out? And what I learned was at the end of 2023, I signed up to become a breathwork facilitator because the two things that saved me while I was building my business, while I was even having like so much success so quickly that I literally thought I didn't deserve it. I was like, this is too much money for me. This is too many clients for me. Like, I'm not good enough. Like, all of those stories were coming up because I was creating so much success so quickly. And then what happens is when our identity hasn't caught up to the results that we're creating is we sabotage it. So that's essentially what happened is I was like, oh my gosh, this is happening too fast, too quick. I don't deserve this. I'm not good enough. And like my revenue tanked and I needed to like lean back and like take a step back, which is okay. And now I'm finally, literally 2 years in, I feel like myself again. I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel the energy. I feel the vibe. I feel connected again. Like I'm here. I did it. And also, I know what it's like to go through like that 2 year time period of darkness, of like despair, of rejection. Oh my gosh, like so much rejection when you're building your business. Like you literally feel like everything is about you and you literally feel personally attacked, at least me, right? Like we just make it so much about ourselves. So I did so much work on rejection sensitivity, nervous system regulation. And I found breathwork as a participant, Revelation Breathwork, back in, I think it might have been 2021, even maybe even 2022. And then I started going every single month because I needed to regulate. I needed to take all of my emotions and scream and cry. So I'm going to talk to you about what breathwork is in a second, and then I'm going to invite you into my program, my virtual program. But the other thing that helped me was yoga, like an actual hatha yoga morning routine, gentle yoga practice. And what it did was create safety in my body. So these are the two things that kept me alive. Now, most people, especially in business, will give up. So when you see that 95% of businesses will fail in the first 5 years statistics. It's like, yeah, of course, because it's going to take a lot of upfront capital. You're probably not going to be able to get paid. You're not going to like be profiting, probably. You're probably going to be investing a lot more in the business than it's making. You will have to sell and market yourself. You will need to get rejected. You will need to get creative. You will need to say yes to clients, right? You will need to say yes to networking events. So it's really you expanding your capacity in a huge, huge way. And resilience, when you think about what it is, it's so amazing. I've taught so many workshops and trainings and been hired to teach resilience retreats. And I really think I'm the best person for it because it almost feels like my entire life has been one resilient perseverance moment after another. I moved to California when I was 19 and just decided to like leave home and go do it on my own. And I had been living by myself, finding random Craigslist roommates since then. I would change jobs like every 2 years. I would move about every 6 months. And every time, and I've been fired 3 times. That's just a piece of what I've gone through emotionally. But again, when you see somebody who's resilient, it is the ability to overcome adversity, but it's also the ability to deeply and completely love and accept yourself. And the biggest challenge I see with high achieving perfectionists, myself included, is when we are not doing well, right? And when we're not hitting the mark, when we're not reaching our goals, it really rocks our identity because we're like, wait a minute, I'm the high achiever. I always get straight A's. Things always come easy to me. So when you're in a season of time where things are coming hard, or they're not coming at all, or it feels like it's really hard, it rocks your identity because it makes you question, like, do I even know what I'm doing? Can I even do this? Maybe I thought I'm like dumber than I thought. Maybe I'm not as smart as I thought. Maybe I'm not as capable. And it makes you start completely doubting yourself. Now, the resilience piece comes in with I can go to the depths of any emotion. And I'm telling you, when you think like crying or feeling emotion or feeling despair or feeling helpless, hopeless, shame, fearful, rejected, when you're afraid of feeling those things, you've now given fear a pedestal. You've now said, oh, I actually am controlled by fear because I'm afraid of my own emotions. And so the thing that I learned over the past 2 years is I will always succeed because when success is being able to go and run into the depths of my deepest emotions and kick and scream and fight it and be like, I don't want to do this. And I'm doing it anyway because I know when I go into this emotion, I'm willing to be with it. I'm willing to sit with it. I'm willing to experience it. Right. Like this is what it says in the Bible, like dying to self. It's like dying to that false identity that you built up and being only with the soul, the spirit, the spark inside you that came here to experience life in all of its fullness. Not just the good stuff, not just when you're making 6 figures, not just when there's money in your bank account, not when your relationships are just going great. It's being able to love and accept yourself despite all of that. And to be able to keep going on your journey and on your path, whatever that looks like. So one of the things I'm so proud of myself of while I went through this time for 2 years is not that I was masking or it's not that I was hiding it, but it was more like I was so committed to my mission that I was doing all of the work that I needed to do behind the scenes to be able to continue to show up for my purpose, for my mission, for my work in the world, to be able to show up to support my clients who were paying me and any potential clients that were going to come in and work with me. I still showed up every day to give value. I still showed up to say, hey, are you struggling with this? I can help you. And I kid you not, this is what usually takes people out in life and in business. And this is when people, and I just turned 40 this year too. This is when people give up on life and they say, I guess this is just what all that there is now. I guess I'm 40 now. I guess I'm 50 now. I guess I'm 60 now. I guess this is just it for me. And the thing I learned through this was like, no, like we're not even halfway there, right? I don't even care if you're in your 60s. You still have a whole, like I like to think of life in decades. And so when you think about developing the skill of resilience, it doesn't matter what the project is, what the job is, what the business is, what the target is, right? The thing that you're wanting to achieve. It doesn't matter when you have the skill of resilience. And resilience is the ability to bounce back from life adversity. But even more deeply, it is your ability to not gaslight yourself, to not say, oh, poor me, or to say, oh, everything's great, and to pretend your way through things. So many perfectionists, and I see a lot of church people doing this too. We smile at church, we go to church, we pretend we're not suffering inside. And what I invite you to do, and I'm so glad I know this now, but I get a little jealous of the younger generations who are learning this at like 25. When you learn how to go into the depths of your emotion, access higher consciousness, connect with source, connect with whatever version of God, which to me is a vibration, it's a feeling in your body. When you expand your consciousness through the willingness to feel feelings, everything changes. Everything. So if you're thinking about like looking what's going on in the world right now, whether it's global or personal, and you're feeling challenged, you're feeling like it's hard, you're feeling like this just keeps getting harder. Believe me, I've been there. I've been there where I'm like feeling like I'm climbing up the mountain and I'm still climbing. And I'm like, are we ever going to like rest? Are we ever going to get to the top of the mountain? Are we ever going to be there? And what I realized through breath work is we are there. And when we can be with the whole experience of life, like my dog who decided, baby, you can't squeak that right now. All right, I got to take this toy away from my dog as she gives me a moment of resilience. Hold on, she's going to keep squeaking if I don't. So give me a moment. Okay, let me know that you're still with me. I took a chance. My dog's usually crated. She's a puppy, and I was like, I took a chance to like let her be in the room with me. So let me just finish this out because she's getting a little excitable and she wants to go play. She's been a really good girl. So here's what I want to invite you into, and I'll explain a little bit more about Revelation Breathwork and what it is. So this is something I've been wanting to do for years, and I just didn't have the capacity or the container to do it, and now I do because I have Kajabi, which is an online course portal. But I want to invite you into my group that is called Resilient AF, and it's a 6-month breathwork journey. And it is designed for you to develop a deeper self trust and a deeper trust in God, universe, source. Like that there's another consciousness out there that's helping you and supporting you. Because when we're in the deepest dark of emotions and we feel completely alone, that's when it gets really hard. So, through the breathwork journey, the way it works, we meet virtually once a month. The Revelation breathwork journey is a deep open mouth breathing. So we do just like that. Hi, little girl. We do that leading up to a primal scream. And the primal scream, the letting go of everything in the body, helps you to let go of those deep emotions, right? Grief, shame, fear, despair, self doubt, self pity. It brings up everything that's kind of in the body that's living there that we're just kind of ignoring. And we're doing those things like online shopping and overeating and scrolling on TikTok and like just doing things that are not actually helping us ascend or to reach a higher level of consciousness. So within this program, we have one Revelation Breathwork session per month. And then we have one intuitive reading session per month for the group. So those of you who don't know what it means, I'm an intuitive life coach. And so I do teach a lot of strategy, a lot of mindset. But at the basis of everything I do is energy. It's the energetics. It is this energetic, intuitive field, the conscious field that we tap into, and we all have it, right? It's the sixth sense. But because we're so distracted, we're typically not tapped into it. We're typically not tapped into it. We're typically not using our intuition. And so, what we do in this program is we meet for our breathwork session. And then a week later, we meet for our integration session, which will be an intuitive reading by me with some intuitive coaching where you can actually get your questions answered, like what's coming up for you. You can start finding your own form of tapping in. So, a lot of people that I work with are just tapping into their intuition. They're just starting to learn to trust their connection to source and spirit. And a lot of times they don't know where to start, they don't know where to begin. So, this is your beginner's place. This is a place for you to go. And I want to take a moment here to share what this actually looks like for you. And I will share, let me pull up. This is what we need to see. Share. So I'll pull up everything that is included here, and I will also review it verbally for you. There we go. So you can see. So, one thing just to note, you will not be able to do active breathing breath work if you are currently pregnant. It is not advised if you are currently pregnant. So, that's the one caveat. But otherwise, you should be medically cleared to do Revelation breath work. So, we start on August 13th, which is a Wednesday. And we will start with your virtual breathwork session. Once you join the program, I'll tell you exactly how to set up your space, what to do. You basically wear headphones, you wear an eye mask, and you scream into a pillow. So all of that will be all of that will be laid out for you. But I really want you to see that no matter where you are right now, you don't need to have it all figured out. You don't even need to know what you're going through or why. I really believe that when you surrender to where you are, like I was in the hole, I was in the pit of despair for a while. And I just decided to light a candle and have a little snack while I was down there. And I just decided I was going to meet myself in breath work. I was going to meet myself in all of the wounds that were there and all of the triggers that were there. And I was just going to love on myself. And I was just going to say, you're okay. Like a lot of times, this is the inner child that comes up, right? Like the inner child that we've ignored and pushed down for so long. So I invite you to experience this because you will meet those parts of you that are scared, that are wounded, that are small, that are wanting you to be like this new version of you, but you've got to let go of some of that past stuff. So what we do is we meet once a month so you can reset, right? It's a place to process your emotion, to breathe through any resistance, and to really reconnect to divine consciousness, the inner knowing, the inner wisdom, your intuition that's inside. So this is for you if you have a business or you don't. It's really just for you if you're feeling overwhelmed, like you're doing all the things and you're just like there's something more, you're feeling a little stuck, feeling like things aren't exactly working, feeling like you keep coming back up to these same patterns over and over again. You might feel emotionally overwhelmed. You're like, I'm overwhelmed. There's so much going on. Like there's so much energetically going on in the world right now. And you can't, sometimes we just feel bad and we can't even pinpoint why. So that is a great place to bring to breath work. Let's also say, you know that there's something missing. Like you want spiritual tools. You want a community. You want support. Like you want something. And I think a lot of us, since COVID, I think we're missing like that community aspect. Like we really want to get really tapped back into community and having community support. And most importantly, hi, little girl, you have to go outside. I'll take you outside soon. There's a door down at the bottom. Most importantly, you want to learn how to feel safe in your body with your emotions and trusting that you can take the next step and then the next step and then the next step. You might not have it all, but over 6 months together, each time we have a breathwork journey, you will have a revelation, you will have a breakthrough. And we have a journal that goes along with it. So you're journaling through each and every one of these breakthroughs. So if you want to move forward in life and business and you feel stuck, blocked, anything, you want to join this program. So here is the investment. It's $250 for 6 months. I'm going to repeat that again. It's only $250 for 6 months of working with me in this group container where we do breath work and we do intuitive readings. If you want to hop on the payment plan is only $47 a month for 6 months. So there's two options here. Now, here's what's included. You get all of the replays. We meet on Wednesdays, second Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and the third Wednesday, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And here's what I'll say. If you are feeling called to this and you're like, man, I don't know if those times are going to work, I highly encourage you to hop in anyway. Because I'll tell you what, I've done so many programs where all I did was access the replays. All I did was watch the program, but I acted and I treated it like I was there live. I treated it like the coach was coaching me. And oftentimes it felt like that coaching call, that intuitive reading was for me, even though I wasn't even present and I wasn't there. So if you're feeling called to this work right now, if this feels like the right time for you, like if this is the things that you're feeling called to, you're struggling with, you want help, you want support on, you can watch the breathwork replays and breathe right along with us. You can watch the intuitive reading and the coaching sessions and feel like you got everything that you came for. because everything is going to be accessible inside of the private member portal. So for me, the reason this excites me is because this is the vibration of where we're going, where when people are working on their own mental health, emotional well being, the entire world changes. When you're emotionally regulated, you're not yelling at your partner, yelling at your kids, being in road rage. You're not doing things that you don't want to be doing, right? You're not like overeating. You're actually being able to sit with the emotion instead of trying to numb them out by doing things that are not good for you, like online shopping, overeating, even just like bitching to your friends, right? Like telling the same old story again and again. We want to get you out of the old story. We want to get you into your new identity. And we want to give you a community that feels supportive where you can bring anything without judgment. This is really cool. This is the mystical stuff that I've been wanting to do for years. And I finally have an opportunity to do it. So remember, if you are going through a hard time, or if you're going through a great time and it actually feels like too much for you too soon, which is what happened with me, you want to be supported in this breathwork container. You don't have to do this alone. Healing happens in community. I know this to be true. And this opportunity to come into this for only $250 is a no-brainer. So what I've done is I've dropped in the link in this Facebook Live, and I'll also drop in the links on the YouTube video. And if you're watching me on Instagram and you're wondering, send me a message. Send me a message to this replay, and I will give you those links to hop in with us. So it's $250 one-time payment for 6 months, or you can hop on the payment plan, which would be $47 a month for 6 months. We start on August 13th. This is where you are going to build your resilience. Resilience is built by increasing your capacity to feel your emotions and trust. If you can feel your emotions, you can do anything. And when you do this, you feel like a warrior. You feel like a goddess, a god, a king, a queen. Like you feel like you've stepped into something like fear can no longer get you. And that is really what I want for myself, for my community, for my clients. And if you end up becoming a one-on-one client, you want to work with me one-on-one, you automatically get this included for free, obviously. So if you're like, hey, I've been wanting to work with you, you can come into this container for $250 for 6 months, or you can book a free consultation call and work with me as a one-on-one client, and you will get this breathwork program included. So that is what I have for you today. I'm going to hop off so I can take care of my little pup. And I'm not going to lie, in the past, I would have yelled at my puppy because I was so dysregulated. And through this work, I've been able to be calm, even though my puppy is a little frantic. And I'd be able to stay calm and talk to her with sweet words and kindness instead of freaking out on her. And so I want that for you in your household as well, to where you're regulated. And when you're regulated, it helps to co-regulate everyone else around you. So join me. We are starting on August 13th. And you want to hop into this now because I want to get you into the program. I want to get you all the materials, and I'm going to get you prepped and started so you're ready to have everything set up for that first breathwork session that we do on the 13th. I will see you inside.